Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Bobble Pod with me, your host, Mr. Bobble. On this episode, we're going to be talking about how to audit your Google Ads account. And again, this comes from a number of questions and queries that have come through of people saying, well, what should I look at when auditing an ad account? And also, as an agency, we've had to do quite a few Google Ads account audits as well recently. So I thought it'd be best to kind of highlight some best practices, key steps for that. But before we begin, as always, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hello YouTube. If you are watching YouTube, you probably see we have changed our location. Again, I guarantee we'll be back in the other room with a nice view of the whole office space soon enough. But unfortunately, we have meeting conflicts. So if you're listening on Spotify, you're probably thinking, what the hell? But if you're watching on YouTube, you're probably thinking, oh, nice, decent background. But the one with the mezzanine background is much better. But if you're on YouTube and you are watching, don't forget to subscribe, click on the bell notification button. Our episodes come out every Tuesday. So let's get straight into it. What is a Google Ad account audit? So a Google Ad account audit is a process of evaluating the effectiveness of your accounts. It's as simple as that. That is what it is. I don't think any of my team here, in terms of Josh or Callum, have you ever done anything within Google Ads?
I haven't, unfortunately. I've looked at it a couple of times, but I've never really sort of treaded water as such on it.
Can I ask you why you've never treaded water? What's been your hesitation, as they say, towards it?
I think it's a very vast thing as such. I think it's quite a big beast, if you will. And I'm a very small business as well, so I don't see it as a thing yet that I need to do, but potentially down the road, if I want to grow my business, that's where I would ideally go to, is Google Ads, but obviously with help from experts such as yourself.
Josh, you've got Dimension Digital, so that's your agency where you do a videography. You guys doing anything to promote yourselves? No, he's shaking his head. No. Nothing as of yet. And it is difficult. If you're a small business and you're running Google Ads and your budgets are low and you're only spending a couple of £100 a month, it's like, well, what is it really achieving? But that originally is why Google started doing Google Ads, is to help the small business become a more profitable business by spending more on Google Ads, by getting more customers, etc., etc. So there is, I've always said this, I have a love-hate relationship with Google. I think Google as a platform's great. But I don't like where it's going in certain facets within all the automation. I think give more control back to the business, stop automating everything. I think they're making a mistake with that. But, they have all the data, they have all the insights, and I'd wish they'd make more decisions which are less money driven. But we're here to talk about auditing Google Ads accounts, not why. So the key to a good Google Ad audit are three key things. Identifying what you're going to review and understand its importance. So why do you want to do an audit? What's working, what's not working? Essentially, if you want to do Google Ads audit, it comes down to the fact that you want to understand, where you are and where you want to go. Or it could be that you're not seeing any return on investment from it. So you want to understand what is important in the ads account that's working, that's not working. You also will look at to review and document the status of each item within the audit. So the different elements, you don't forget Google is a big beast. As you say, Callum, you've got YouTube within that, display, search, Gmail, discovery ads, performance max campaign, shopping, etc. Multiple facets to it. And the final thing is making detailed notes and call out examples of items that basically need to be revisited, addressed, or as a post-audit action plan. So they're the three key things that make a good audit in terms of what you need to do. So what I've got here is, I want to say 7. I need to just double check. I actually have, 7 key steps that you need to follow when doing a Google Ads audit. Step 1, review your goals. Not necessarily your business goals. I mean the goals within the actual platform itself. So goals are either set as primary or secondary. Now, if all goals are set to primary, that means even at account level, it means everything you're doing within Google Ads and different, platforms or channels within Google Ads, it's all optimized towards every single primary goal conversion. So, for example, for Bobble Digital, we're B2B. It's about lead generation. The key primary goal for us is a contact us form or request a free audit on our website. They're the two things we're really, really interested in. The primary goal really is request a free audit, because that's where we get contact details of the customer. They clearly want us to do the audit. It's a hot lead. That's what we want to optimize towards too. A secondary lead would be people calling the office. So going on our website, click on the call button, or calling from the ads, maybe even subscribing to our newsletter, or clicking to subscribe to our Bobble podcast. All these elements, if the forerunners are doing other actions, even basic contact us forms, they're secondary, because not many people will complete the contact us form to request an audit. So understand your goals. If it's B2C in your e-commerce, you'll have different points of the conversion revenue funnel. So you'll have people add to basket, start, the purchase payment method to checkout completion. So your primary goal would want to make sure on the account is, complete checkout. So how many people have completed checkout and the revenue value for that? Add to basket shouldn't be a primary conversion action. It should be secondary. What you should do is use your add to basket as a secondary conversion value, so you can see how much is being, lost, and run retargeting campaigns against that. So review your goals. Too many times when I audit an ad account, the first thing we look at is the overall performance of the account, the optimization score, the spend, impressions, clicks, conversions, cost per conversions, and revenue if it's e-commerce. But then we also look at the goals and the conversions and how many have set up, how accurate it is, and is it a mess? You need to simplify it. The simpler the structure with your goal completions, the better, because then you're allowing the algorithm to optimize towards what is important to you. And remember at the start, it's understanding, the whole point of audit is to do a review and understand what is important for you as a business. Step 2 is looking at the account structure. Now, there's no right way to do an account structure, but different agencies based on time and experience will do things in a certain way based on proven results and a track record. We have things the way we do them. Other people have other ways to do them. We see this when we go in and audit Google Ads accounts with different structures. We might say, well, we don't like that, but it's personal preference. Sometimes we go in and it's a mess. And that's why account structure and auditing the account structure is really, really important. As part of account structure as a basic level, I always say you should have a brand campaign that protects your brand terms so that other competitors are not bidding on you. You should have a search campaign built out focused on the key service areas of your business that you go to, like money keywords. Then, those should be broken up into different ad groups with ad group themes related to the keywords you put into that. It should be correctly labeled. So campaign should be labeled as brand campaign. So it should be like a PPC campaign. If we're targeting PPC keywords, they should be broken down into ad groups at exact phrase broad match level. Then you should see that multiple ads are in there targeting specific headlines, descriptions within that. Have a good structure, good names. So if you're targeting a specific region, so let's say you got a campaign, and we'll use our own agency as an example. So if we're doing a campaign around PPC agencies, we can do a broader one targeting all UK, but I can target PPC agency leads. So that would be, I'd name the campaign, PPC services, but the ad group would be keywords related to themes like PPC leads or PPC London, for example, if you want to geo-target it. So that's why account structure is really important, because it helps you identify the purpose of what you're doing. When we go in and we see not really well labeled or structured campaign names, ad groups, etc., it's hard to understand what are you trying to do. Break it down and make it readable within it. What we do as a tip is when we create any campaign, we have the letters, characters BD before everything. So it'll be BD dash, brand campaign, BD dash PPC campaign, BD dash search campaign. And then in the ad groups, there'll be BD, PPC leads, BD, PPC agency, BB, PPC audits, whatever the ad group themes are, etc., and take it from there. So you have a better idea when you're pulling off the reports, the campaign names and ad groups names, and the structure of the campaign has some sort of element that you can follow to understand the rationale reason of what you're doing. Step 3, account and campaign settings. So this is a key thing to have a look at is the geographic targeting appropriate and accurate? Do you see countries or regions in the locations that you don't want to target? So if I'm targeting a campaign and I have an ad group going, targeting leads as the keywords, and I'm appearing in London, not really. I'm really trying to target leads as a geolocation. If you're doing like PMAX campaigns, you have to look at are your audiences correct? Is the device targeting appropriate? Remember, it's mobile first. So a lot of people will do their searches initially on mobile, but then continue on laptop devices. So are you targeting and splitting your, campaign settings to the right device? And make sure you've got advanced location settings in place. So, exactly are you going after the audience you want? The bid strategy, is it automated? Is it manual? What is the delivery method? All these part of the account settings and, campaign settings need to be looked at. Goals, back to step 1, are they applied at account level or campaign level? So which ones be tracked at which level, etc. So they're the key things you want to look at next. Then you get into what I call the more crux of it. So the next thing you want to look at is ad groups. So I always say, do the ad groups have themes? And the reason I say themes, and we're on step 4 now, as ad groups is themes, is like if we're targeting a broad term like PPC services, you want to break it up into themes. So we might target it, get a free PPC audit or get a PPC health check. These kind of keywords are relevant. So we'd have that in an ad group for PPC audit. Then there could be like PPC agency, but localized like Leeds, London, whatever, specific terms. If you're, let's say, an accounts company, it could be, tax return deadlines, and stuff like that. Have themes, so you have specific keywords related to that, so that it's driving to specific landing pages. Use ad groups that match type. Some people might agree with this and some people might not. But I always say the best method is once you have your themes, don't just add in broad match, exact match, and phrase match keyword types into one ad group. Break them into individual ad groups, especially if you've got a lot of keywords. You don't want like 50, 60 keywords all, at broad, phrase, exact match into one ad group. If you've got a limited budget, then you're going after all 60 words in a key ad group. Try and break it up so you can identify which keywords at which phrase match or match type for that keyword, whether it's broad phrase or exact, works best for you. And remember, some keywords at phrase and exact match will have a high CPC for more accuracy compared to broad match. And that's why match type and breaking up in different elements too. So when we do campaigns, it'll be BD, for example, PPC audit, and then we'll put in brackets BM, which for broad match, PM for phrase match, and EM for exact match. So that comes back to campaign structure, and we'll be like, right, all the keywords in this ad group are the same, but these are set of broad match, these are set of phrase match, these are exact match. I always look for like how many people stuff how many keywords into an ad group. You'd be surprised. We go into an ad group and see just one keyword and then 5 ads. I'm like, okay, that makes no sense. But then in others, you have, let's say, 4 or 5 keywords of different match types. And then in others, you've got like 80 keywords of different match types, and they're all different no themes. So that's why step 4 is really important, because you've got to look at the ad groups, how it's been structured, what are the keyword themes within that. And that leads us straight on to step 5, which is looking at your keywords, keyword themes and performance, looking at, impressions or search volumes against that. So we have a look at, right, how many keywords are within a specific ad group, which keywords are taking up most of the budget, which are high CPCs, which are good CTRs. We then look at conversions and conversion rates. We then look at negative keywords that, based on, if we look at the GA data, to see, how many negative keywords we need to be applying. If they have been applied at that level, we need to look at the search query reports, etc. So keywords is a very important step. That's what we look at, because when we always do audits, and the day before doing this recording, we did an audit, and for the account we audited, there were 112 keywords enabled and active in the ad account, but only 20 of them were converting, of which 40% were competitor keywords. So you might think, what the hell does that mean? So 112 keywords they're bidding on, that they're getting impressions, clicks, and actually spending money on at a varied CPC. But when looking at the KPIs, the key performance indicators, actually only 20 of those keywords at different match type levels were actually converting. When I mean converting, was like there's conversion action in the ad account against it. And ironically, what we found was that actually it was the competitor names that were driving the highest conversions. They didn't have no brand. The brand should be always the best performing keyword in terms of conversions. For Bobble, it's Bobble Digital, because people know that shows that you're doing a lot to build your brand. Remember, brand versus performance. It's not that, it's brand and performance. So they're bidding on competitor keywords, but the irony is they're not protecting their own brand. So how many leads are they losing because they're targeting their competitors as keyword, but not actually protecting their own brand name? And if 40%, which is 8 of those top keywords, were competitor keywords, that means only 12 out of the 112 keywords were actual keywords that were deriving some level of conversion action. It's not enough. And when you're spending, thousands of pounds a month on just 8 keywords, what really are you achieving when you think about it? That's why structure, themes, ad groups, keywords are really, really important. That's what we look at. And that's what we highlighted. We said when it comes to brass tacks, actually 40% of the keyword, out of the 40% of the converting keywords, are competitor keywords. There's only 12 keywords here that actually are working based on the last 90 days worth of data. So you spent all that money and all this, but this is what's working. This isn't. That's not to say that those other 100 keywords are not having any real value. They're driving clicks, but at what value? That's where you need to have a look at the GA data or GA4 and have funnels in place to see how many people come from paid search, where they're dropping off, and the relevancy of that, and make sure negative keywords are in place. Step 6 is the stage after that, which is ads. So the first thing you should check is your ad strength. So ad strength is split up into poor, average, good, or excellent. Now, poor, average isn't good enough. The minimum we always check is to see if they're at least good, but you should be aiming for excellent. Because what happens is you then lose impression share to ad rank and budget. So we can look at impression share that you're getting and how much you're losing. Now, budget you have a lot of control over. You have to work towards the budgets you have. But when we're doing audits, we can see what percentage that is lost to ad rank. And that means that, the keyword, the ad group, the match type, the headlines, descriptions in the ads, and landing page experience isn't all matched up. So if the ad strength is poor, that means you're not doing the best practices of what Google's asking for when creating ads. And it's hard not to do that, because in the platform itself, it has like a circle of 100% that says when you're excellent. So if you're not ticking all the boxes, it gives a guide when creating the ads with all the responsive search ads to do it. So that's the first thing we look at, is ad strength. Then we look to see if they have multiple ads in place. We looked at another audit where there were 20 ad groups, but only 20 ads live. I always say best practice is minimum 2 responsive search ads to an ad group to allow for A/B testing of different headlines, descriptions, but also allow you to pin specific headlines and headlines at different ads. You should always be A/B testing your ad copy and look at new ways and different ways to get the message over in line with the keywords that you have. So we have a look at, are they using all the maximum headlines and descriptions available to them, 15 or 4? For example, does that have a good impact? Are they including site links or, ad extensions on their ads, which makes it bulk out? So there's other elements that they can look into. So if you see an ad from Bobble Digital about PPC services, it'll have like our PPC services site link, but also have a link to, complete a free audit and get a free digital strategy and audit, for example. So, and then contact us and like links to, maybe a blog page where we've got PPC specific, content. So you want to make sure you've got relevant site links, ad extensions, call outs, and all that kind of stuff, and making sure it looks good and adds good value. And this leads us to the final step, which is the landing page. So we have to look at where are these ads going to? What is the landing page experience? Does the landing page reflect the keywords in the ads as well as in the ad groups? Are the landing pages working? No 404 errors. Google will still run the ads and let you go to a dead link if it's got 404 error or it's not being redirected. But also, do the forms on that landing page work? You could be seeing all these clicks and click-through rates. Keywords could have a high, click volume, high click-through rate, but if it's not converting, is there something wrong with the form or the user experience on the website? So these are things we have to look at. Are the payment methods working? If it's an e-commerce, ad account we're looking into, is it converting? Is it not converting? And these are the key things on the landing pages that you need to look at. And finally, what I'm going to say is don't forget the reporting setup. We always look to see if they have scheduled reports set up in the ad account. So are they pulling off on a regular basis the key information and data they need to see? So if it's e-commerce, are they looking at revenue? Are they looking at, performance, return on ad spend, etc., average order value, impression clicks, conversion rate, etc.? If it's lead generation, conversion against cost per conversion, etc., are they pulling in all these insights and reports? Do they have set up reports in the ad account? If not, we go in and set them up so the clients can directly download them ourselves. We have our own internal reporting system that does it for them, an automation. But if clients are managing ourselves, how are they extracting this data out to do the analysis needed to actually understand what's working, not working? That kind of summarizes the Google Ads audit process. There's 7 good steps there. I hope that's helped in terms of things you need to look at. Now, remember, this is just a top line view. I only get around about 20-25 minutes with you to discuss this, but listen to it, take notes on the key 7 steps, implement it. If you're struggling with it, reach out to us. We don't mind. Happy to do it. But that should give you a good, thorough, in-depth, starting point in terms of what to do, what to look at. And if you're not looking at those things, you should definitely be looking at those things to improve what you're doing. So I want to thank everyone for listening. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Don't forget to at us and tag us at Bobble Digital with any questions or queries you have. Use the hashtag Mr. Bobble, hashtag Ask Bobble, or hashtag BobblePod. And we look forward to catching up with you on our next episode.